LinkedIn. Edit. Just got to remove the LinkedIn one because that's okay. We should be live now. Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions Daily here live on Facebook. Today with me, I have a special guest, Howard Tai. Howard is currently in isolation in Hong Kong. You had to make your way back. You come from, I see you in Europe a couple of weeks ago, Howard, when we see it started to break in Prague. And now you're in literally a single hotel room with a tag on, and you're in quarantine on day one.
Correct.
So do you want to give the audience a little bit of background on yourself?
I'm called the Professor. So my name is Howard Tai, and I've been doing Amazon since 2009. So moved to Shenzhen, China, and set up shop. Did Amazon and did pretty big. Had like 100 people plus employees. And so we then slowly shrank a little bit more back then because we all did the FBM version where we had our whole warehouse and everything. So then we shrinked a little bit. After that, in 2015, 16, that's where there was this mass hoverboard craze where I did a lot of hoverboards. I probably did like 1,000 hoverboards a day, and the problem between half was in the U.S. and the other half was in other countries. So that was selling at maybe between $400 plus to $700 at that time. So that was really lucrative. But the problem was there was a lot of problem with the batteries inside the hoverboards. Not just everyone was getting some problem where battery was exploding, catching on fire, things like that. So Amazon, before anything, Amazon pulled all the listings off and saying that these are you can't sell it unless you get like UL certified. But we were still one of the only people being able to sell it because we were really selling a lot. So Amazon worked really closely to us. But the problem is this. When they told everyone to return all the products to Amazon or go back in and destroy all the products in the UK, they told them to destroy the products. They didn't even return it back to us. So then we were selling it so high, and we were always keep on ordering more and more because we were doing FBM at that time. So everything, we had a big shipment, 30-day FBM time, delivery handling going over. Like we have like maybe 3 or 4, like a lot of people in the United States already started having a lot of the
You just froze there, Howard. I'll give you a chance to come back. If you have any questions, guys, do you want to pop them into the chat below? Quickly say hello to a few people. Ben Valence, Roger's there, Owen's here, Sama Brax, Etienne, hope you're well, guys. Loeb, Ras, how we doing? Let's have a look who else is here. Hopefully Howard can log back in and come back out again. Barkus, hello, hope you're well. Again, if you've got any questions, let us know. Howard's actually in Hong Kong at the moment in a hotel room, so his internet connection may be a bit skew-if at times. Sorry, Howard, can you hear us now? Yeah, I can hear you now. You're back again.
Yes, I can hear you. I'm switching back and forth to my phone because this over here in the hotel is pretty bad internet.
Yeah.
So
okay, we'll bear with you.
Really quick.
Just do the switch over. Let's see if this is a bit better. Apologies, guys, but Howard is in isolation in a hotel room in Hong Kong, and he's joining us from there. So his internet might be a bit bad at the moment, but we'll get that fixed.
Is everything okay?
So there we go.
There, I'm back up on my side.
That's great. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm good. Sorry about that.
So That's fine. Cool. I just let the guys know anyway that you are in lockdown at the moment, so you may have some issues with the internet connection. So where we got up to is you were saying about the hoverboards. Amazon never returned them to you, and yeah,
So I lost a lot of money. The bottom line was because there was all these inventory that Amazon told everyone to either return it or destroy it.
yeah,
So that's why after that I stopped selling on Amazon.
yeah,
I try to go into a model where I don't need to have inventory
yeah,
to be because that's the problem where you're growing too big. Sometimes and then you're stuck and then something happened like this. So then
yeah,
I've been doing more teaching
yeah,
and more consulting side.
yeah. That makes sense. And so basically, really, you possibly feel that you got turned over a little bit by Amazon. You got left to hang out to dry slightly because of the hoverboard situation, or
I would say exactly.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so you're kindly offered to come on. You were able to, the idea is that we're going to discuss if anyone has any issues with some black hat stuff, and because I know that you often helped people in the community, like if it's happened to their listing, you make suggestions of what they can do and stuff like that. So, if you don't mind, we'll start off with things like when people get a flood of upvotes on their listing. We're not asking you to where places to go to get it resolved and stuff, but if someone finds themselves in that position, they wake up one morning and their listing's got a stack of upvotes on a 1-star review, what can they do about it?
So it's really hard for this one because
Yeah,
you really need to let like Amazon, if you I would suggest you to make sure that you would have like someone that you can talk to in Amazon.
yeah,
If the best is to have a SAM, if you can, or if you can you actually hire the SAM from the Amazon. They have the program where you can hire them for about I think $5,000
mm,
minimum or a
yeah,
percentage up
yeah,
to. So for that, if anyone needs that, I could see if I could find a link for that. But
yeah,
hire them, and because you need someone a direct line of contact in Amazon, because it's really hard if you have people attacking you and you don't have nowhere to report it, and
yeah,
people won't respond to you through the support cases and stuff. Because
yeah,
you can tell support, hey, recently within a certain period of time, I've been getting a lot of upvotes on my products.
yeah,
So it's been you got to make sure you track this and make
yeah,
sure you tell them and make sure that you have a lot of these cases that you do and you send it in so that you have it, and then you make sure you mark all the case numbers down and then
yeah,
you go back in and then report them as well again. So
yeah,
that's the Amazon way. So
yeah.
if not, the other way would be you would
You
have
look, you
to.
can. It's fine. We're not saying you should say where to go, but let's be honest. I'll answer that question if you want to, and I'm not saying it's the right thing or the wrong thing, but there are services out there that will rename, will not be named, that people will go and say, you know what, Amazon is useless in this case, so therefore I will go and get other reviews upvoted to cover those over. Not saying that's right, and that's within terms of service. But that's the non-compliant way. But what you're saying is if they're part of the SAM growth program, which I think you're right, it works on a percentage, doesn't it? And there's a flat fee on a monthly basis. That they will maybe help combat that, and there will be you've got their ear to go to them to help resolve. Yeah, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. What about then in a situation where someone's got a flood of negative reviews? Yeah. So they wake up one morning, 50, 60 reviews. How would they deal with that the compliant way with Amazon?
So it's just like the voting. You would really need to look at these products,
Yeah.
these reviews that you have, and check it out and make sure you see a certain period of time. You can see if they're leaving votes, a lot of them, and
Yeah.
not as norm. You can contact the support saying, hey, if I recently haven't have gotten a lot of reviews, negative reviews that are people are actually trying to attack me,
Mm.
and I need to make sure if you can actually go in there and see who is doing this, because a lot of these buyers, these people who are doing these negative reviews that on you are all it's a stream of sock puppets or people that control them, either through they're actually finding some kind of a service provider doing it, or they're asking someone to do it that actually does it for other people or something like that. So you can kind of like think these are all these people who are giving you the negative reviews, are they linked in some way? Do you see that there are also giving the same positive reviews on other people as well? So you can try to link it and document it as much as possible, so you can tell Amazon, hey, these are a string of let's say sock puppets that are actually leaving me with bad reviews. How these are the proof. This sock puppet that gave me a bad review gave that guy a good review, or that guy negative review also, and then this guy like a string of it, so that you probably have to do like a lot of do an Excel and make sure that you do your due diligence and try to do it slowly and try to create a case so that you can get those reviews removed.
Okay, makes sense.
Amazon knows this happening, so they're willing to help.
Yep. Okay, so we've got a question from the audience here. Alexander, I think it is. I hope I haven't butchered your name. So competitors buy your product and return as a product not as described. And then Amazon flags it as inauthentic and suspends your listing. What are some of the things you can do about it?
That's a really a tricky one. As long as if you can make sure as long as you can make sure that your products aren't really in bad quality, you can also go back in and see for the people who returned it, see if you can document something. But that's a really hard case to do, because a lot of people are doing that, and you really need to make sure that you when you see anything like in a very upward trend on those cases that you saw, that with returns and refunds and stuff, that you really report them as fast as possible and go through these, because usually what it does is that they're trying to go in and return products so that they will write in some kind of bad reviews regarding your products, such as it's unsafe, explosion, or it makes me bleed, it makes me go to the hospital, well, right now the recent stuff that's going on regarding that would probably be this has been used, or this is a fake, trying to get you suspended on that case sense. So what you need to do is make sure that you report that as much as possible and go through all your reviews and see if you can find the people who are doing this.
Okay, cool. Excellent. There's another question here, but we don't have to answer this because this is more about defense rather than offense. Michelle, so is there a black hat way to get removed reviews and get them back? So I'm not going to promote that here, Michelle. Sorry, I'm not going to answer that question. This is focused in on about defense rather than offense. Here, another one from Facebook user. It says, if you report somewhere through brand registry for merging reviews or anything else, can they find out it was you potentially?
If brand registry, yes, they could actually see who's actually doing that. The best is not to use it through like another buyer or some other account that you do, so that they wouldn't be able to track who is the one that is sending the report, reporting them. And I would suggest you do that.
What I would also say with, if you can, anything related to this kind of stuff, is brand registry is a good place to report rather than just standard support. Generally, it's quicker, and the skill level of the brand registry team is higher. So if you have got stuff to report, I would say that's your first port of call for most things where possible. You could probably be a bit cheeky on certain things and play dumb and report stuff through there that's not totally related. They may come back to you, they may not, but brand registry would be a good place to do that. But like what you said, Howard, is that everything's tracked in brand registry to a point. Bogdan has asked, for products that require certification testing, providing these really help in the situations, we've had attacks like that and solved it with the paperwork. Okay, so that really isn't. I don't know if that's a question, but it says for products that require certification tests, providing those really help in the situation. We've had attacks, so let's talk about some attacks here. Where what are some of the things that you've seen, Howard? Possibly is where people have kind of maybe sent in fake certification or reported it that they don't have the certification. Maybe we'd discuss the masks here is a good thing. You know, like you were saying about off call, FDA and non-FDA.
Yeah.
Let's have a chat about that. That maybe help this question here.
So there's a lot of different kind of masks online. So there's
Yep.
FDA approved and non-FDA approved. So a lot of them, people that actually state that they're FDA approved aren't really legit.
Yep.
So those are things like that, and people reporting those are correct, of course, but maybe you are actually selling an FDA approved mask and people are trying to say that this is a fake or something. That's where a situation that we're talking about here. And
Yep.
As long as you have paper documents and stuff like that, you will probably go down a little bit for a certain time until you can send in the correct paperwork. Make sure before you sell a particular item, you actually know everything about it, and you submit the paperwork beforehand, so they are documented. That's what I would do. Like for like something like these masks or some kind of like supplements or something that would need some paperwork, you would submit it beforehand. So this will help out.
Yeah. Michelle is asking, is it still possible to rank a product safely without giveaways?
Well, I mean, ranking a product on online and on Amazon is could be done still safely without giveaways. Just the way how you want to do it. If you want to do like, like I always keep on telling everyone the added carts and stuff like that. Added carts, you can do it with like kind of a promotion code or something like that to see how much you can get. On the code side.
I mean, you've been quite open about the added cart thing. I've seen some of your presentations in China. So what's your take on the add to cart thing? Obviously, the people appearing higher up ranking, it varies. What is your take on add to cart as a form of protocol, if you like, for ranking, and would you mix it with other signals and stuff like that?
So add to cart is it's only like a signal to Amazon that this thing is popular. So if you get added carts and you somehow get it up on the first page, but you don't have any sales to back you up, they'll eventually fall down and it's not going to be able to sell. So you still need to make sure that you have kind of a stream of velocity of sales involved, so you can keep your maintain rank, I would say, call it.
Yeah, so basically, add to cart is a way to utilize to send a signal, because it's a micro, or not a micro. It's considering a partial conversion by Amazon as they count against the algorithm, but that won't sustain itself without proper organic or PPC sales or external traffic sales. Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, cool. Joe says, "Hi Danny, hi Howard. Useful info. Thanks for doing this. That's fine." Hi, Danny and Howard. What criteria does it take consideration when removing reviews? I think what he's saying there is that when Amazon will determine when to remove a review. Now, we know that there's the community guidelines, right? But I've literally sent Amazon stuff into review, showed them their terms of service and said, can you remove this review? And they did. And then a week later, that review appeared again. And I showed them, and it says, sorry, this is against the company, the guidelines. And you're like, well, no, look, here's a screen grab from last week. You've already removed it once and it's now reappeared. What would you suggest here as an example, Howard, with terms of dealing with this?
It's really based on like how you approach it with them, if you can document them like how you said. But I would always try to get more deeper into it to find out who exactly is giving these negative reviews by seeing if there's any more of like go back into the root of the problem, where you figure out all these bad reviews, and then you look at it to see if there's any correlationship like I talked about, and
Mhm.
then see if there's a seller out there that you can find out that
Mm.
is doing this, and report that seller or tell the seller to uh,
Yeah.
fuck off.
Yeah. Okay, this one here. Are negative review removal services safe to use? Is it possible to get suspended? Of course, if you get caught, you'll get suspended because Amazon takes that very, very seriously. So I've tried to help you answer that one, Howard. Here's an interesting one from Roger. Right, Howard mentioned submitting compliance documents beforehand. How do you do that in the way that it sticks? We've had many potential hazmat items and are forever submitting. They don't appear to have a system that attach docs to ASINs.
They actually have a system where they look at your they have notes in the back end.
Yeah.
So there is a system that you can attach documents and chats with regarding your account.
Yeah. Okay. I've got a couple more questions I want to go into. You're talking about transparency program and stuff like that. In the event that someone, listing comes under attack, the injecting certain keywords to trick the algorithm to get you suspended. What can you do there? What protocols are in place to help prevent that from happening?
So it really depends on how are they trying to trick the algorithm to get
Okay.
you suspended. But
Okay.
from what I would suggest overall, because each particular issue is different, I would go in and make sure, like we talked about, first get a SAM, get someone to help you in the back. Uh,
Mhm.
have a connection of like a channel of communication.
Yeah.
Second, go in and make sure that you have brand registry
Yeah.
and that you have if you can get transparency plus Project Zero,
Yeah.
so you have all your weapons. I know Project Zero is more like an invite now only, but I'm sure you can get it if you kind of push a little harder. Like kind of uh, document cases and just
Mhm.
try to push a little bit harder and to try to get it. So then with that case we're talking about, now you have a lot of people that you can go to and talk to, right? You could
Yeah.
have the normal support, you have your SAM, you have your brand registry, and then now you have Project Zero to complain
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
So with that and a list of emails that you want to escalate and to Jeff and to other departments,
Yeah.
as well as then you go, now you have people you could talk to, as well as for your product itself, make sure you fill out all your uh, fields that are in your category upload file,
Yeah.
so that no one can really add additional fields into your listing that will cause your account to be suspended.
Yeah. Okay. So an example, maybe go to Amazon, ask for a listings report, download that, and then complete all the fields or use a period in there where it's empty to retain the catalog contributions.
Correct. Because then your catalog contribution should be really high because of you getting the brand registry
Yeah.
over other people. So that's where it is. If you leave it empty, it
Mm.
doesn't matter because no contribution is on there. So that's
Mm.
why they can actually edit your
Contribution.
listing really
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah. Okay. So Stephen says, Howard, are there any signs that Amazon's machine learning is getting better at detecting and reducing black hat tactics, e.g., socket puppet accounts?
Well, I'm telling you right now,
Yeah.
Amazon's doing a really good job on finding bad reviews to remove. They're
Yeah.
actually good at having a good sock puppet removal
Yeah.
thing where they kind of suspend accounts for
Mm.
sock puppets.
Yeah.
So they're getting really smart.
Yeah.
So it's really helpful because, hold on, give me a second. Let me drink.
No worries. Grab some water. That's fine.
So it's really good and very helpful because right now it's less and less people are going to attack you right now than
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
The way they attack you is a little different. And right now we see more of people attacking you through like we said, saying that this is fake or this item is like used,
Yeah.
things like that. And maybe giving you saying that like this is like a bad uh kind of false claim
Yeah.
certificate or stuff like that. That's more of the things that we see right now
Okay.
instead of back then where people are messing with your files and messing with your things like that.
Well, this kind of brings on to another. I don't have the profile up. It says Facebook user. It says, are vendor central attacks still happening, like changing images and listings? And is there any way to protect yourself from vendor attacks without a vendor central account? That's very specific, but yeah, is there anything you can enlighten there?
So Vendor Central attack is still going on, but
Mm.
because Amazon, they actually recently, or not recently, but a while ago, they've been disabling a lot of these Vendor Central accounts because
Yeah.
they were kind of doing too much bad things. So
Yes.
nowadays out there in the Vendor Central world, it costs too much for them to buy a Vendor Central to be able to um, uh, do these kind of bad attacks because
Yeah.
they'll get suspended and they'll lose a lot of money. So it's
Yeah.
not worth it for them to attack you with Vendor Central. But
Yeah.
it does happen sometimes.
Hmm.
So, but very rarely now. Uh,
Yeah.
you'll see that very rarely. The most you see is changing pictures or something like that nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm seeing a lot less of that going on at the moment. Um, let's talk a bit about China. Like in terms of people see that there's competition all around the world, and so how has this impacted, would you say, in terms of the Chinese sellers on the platform? Is this leveled the playing field with the virus and stuff like that? And what are you seeing and observing from there?
So right now, the Chinese and also the Westerners are also having the same problems. They
Yeah.
can't send things in, and they're probably the products category. They're having the same problems as you guys, but the different things is probably that they have benefit is that the inventory is on their side. They could do FBM pretty easily.
Yeah.
Um, and probably reactive really fast. But right now they're all concentrating on maybe opening different venue to sell
Mm.
on, such as Walmart or other things like that, as well as they're doing more B2B
Mm.
stuff that related to the coronavirus right now that they're
Yeah.
focusing on.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Is anyone else in the audience got any questions? I think we've pretty much covered quite a lot of this, Howard. So, do you want to explain the situation you're in at the moment? You're on a quarantine, aren't you? You kindly jumped on this call. You're in Hong Kong, but you're literally in a single hotel room, and you've got to be there for 2 weeks. How's that messing with the head at the moment?
Oh wow. Okay, so I think I've been telling you. I've been jumping like from places to places,
Yeah,
just trying to make sure that the borders doesn't. It's like a war zone right now. Last time I
yeah,
was with you in Prague, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
when I was in Prague, it was like I was supposed to leave on a Tuesday, but before it was a Sunday, was the whole entire city was closing down, no ins and outs in Prague or Czech. So we had to like kind of fly out before that time, and then because we had my wife had a scuba diving trip, so we
hmm,
had to fly to Thailand to do
yeah,
that. So we flew there, and she went to do her scuba diving trip, and I went to visit Zach, Franklin, and David.
yeah.
David
Neutral lady, yeah, yeah,
yeah, and from there, and then there's another reason where uh, after a little bit, there was another reason where Bangkok and the whole Thailand was closing down too, as well as Hong Kong was closing their port on Wednesday.
yeah,
So had to fly in on Tuesday so that I would be able to go to Shenzhen, China from there. But in reality, I flew into Hong Kong and they told me that you cannot go to China from here. So that's why I'm here in Hong Kong for the 14-day quarantine. So that's why I'm here right now in this little room here.
And literally, you're like 90 minutes from home. You were from Shenzhen, or where you base yourself? Is that right?
Yeah, I'm in Shenzhen. That's like it's like just kind of like an hour or so. Yeah, plus 9 minutes.
So you're literally 90 minutes, and you're in this room, and you like it's pretty heavy when you've got a single room to operate in. So I'll check in with you in a few days to see if your wife has kept you alive. Yeah.
Hopefully I'm still alive. I don't know how because we're in a small room. I'm not sure. Like people get crazy, crazy.
Yeah. I got another question here, if we don't mind. What's the best way to have multiple accounts with brand registry for reporting other sellers or selling multiple brands without getting caught? Actually, that's not the. No wonder he went under Facebook user and not that. So no, we're not going to answer that question because I'm not here to promote other people attacking each other. So we're not going to give away that kind of information. So moving on, Howard, where do you see things going at the moment? What's your visual of seeing what's going on in the landscape with China? The cases have started to recover, right? In terms of the virus, there seems to be a more normality going on. What's your observation of getting the China back to normal over the next 6 to 9 months, or do you think there's going to be a reoccurrence of the virus there?
Currently, a lot of the viruses that are coming in are from outside, imported, meaning people like maybe Chinese from like vacation coming back in, or Chinese from other country that lived for a while that wants to come over back to China to feel safer, so they come back. And right now, the more the cases are from these people that are coming back to Hong Kong or to China, that is increasing. So right now, they're like Hong Kong combated by closing their border from the outside, so no more new cases coming in. But in China, we don't know. Maybe they'll do the same thing. But it seems like I looked at how they're doing their looking through the borders and seeing how they each person coming in. They're really strict. They're really doing a good job on like quarantine people if they're having it, or if they don't, letting them go. So it's very strict. They kind of like test everyone.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Is there anything you want to add before we go? I think I covered all the questions here for the guys. Is there anything you want to add? Let you get some water. It must be hot over there as well at the moment, over in Hong Kong.
No, it's just that the air conditioning and the small room. I don't know. I get talking a lot. So no, just like what we talked about, making sure that all your listings are you have all the certification and you report it back in first, and you have all your defense, and you have all the people that you can contact, as well as just need to be really persistent on reporting people that tax you, and as well as making sure that you just have everything noted down, all the cases numbers, and later on maybe they would be able to gate your brand. That's the point. If
That's
you can
actually grow.
If you actually have a keep on having these cases numbers, and that you can report it, and they see that, there's a high probability of your brand could be gated. So that's just another thing that I would suggest you do.
Okay, I've got a couple of more questions if you don't mind. Alex says, I noticed that in the catalog selling application, there's a declined application for OTC medical. I've never applied to get approval for this. Is it just about a bug or an attack attempt?
I've seen the OTC medical before. So, wait, you got seller, there's a client application. Okay. Usually it's because of medical supplies, I believe, right?
Yeah.
They have some new measures with medical devices, as well as surgical mask. I think that's what they call it. So you have to apply for that to engage the categories.
Okay. One here is, hi, multiple accounts question is interesting from the point of splitting our own brands. Is it possible now, Howard, please? I can answer that. It is possible to split up your brands. You used to have to contact the performance team to explain what you plan to do in terms of having another Amazon account. But from earlier on in this year, from my understanding, as long as you've got different directors and different bank accounts, like company name structures, etc., then generally you're able to apply and set up a new account as long as they are separated. What else have we got here? Okay, there's one here that says Amazon is manually submitting and declining, so the accounts are unable to list or gorge. I think Carlos was talking about the price gorging going on at the moment as well. Do we have any other questions before we go? Let's have a look. I'm not going to answer the question where we get the ports. How to sell masks these days? Okay, so what's your take on this, Howard? I'd like to get your point of view. Do you think, where do you sit with the selling of masks? Like people rushing out, like if you're selling them anyway, right? And I know we're entrepreneurs. If you're selling masks anyway, and that's all part of your catalog, that's one thing. But when someone goes, let's go and get some pallets of masks to make a shitload of cash, where do you sit with that?
So for this mask thing, it's like a deja vu of hoverboards and fidget spinners. You got to watch out right now because these things are probably gonna kick you, kick you in the butt. So I would suggest to stay away on Amazon for these particular mask or medical supply if you can, because you might get your account suspended for some reason that you probably don't know.
Yeah, no, and what you're saying as well is that, like, if this is, let's just say things calm down in a few months' time, there's going to be people with shitloads of masks, isn't there? And then so happens is it's going to be a race to the bottom to get rid of the stock because you're going to have excess. Plus, like you said, if you've got no certification, because I think was it Brock Johnson? Do you remember the glasses, the Eclipse glasses? Like Brock was one of the only people with the right certification, and so when that hit, everyone, not everyone, but a massive chunk of those sellers had their products removed from Amazon, and they lost a shit ton of cash. I think what Carlos has done here, he's articulated the answer to the question. It says, I noticed in the catalog selling application, there's a declined application for OTC medical. I've never applied. Answer, Amazon is manually submitting and declining, so the accounts are unable to list or gorge. So that answers the earlier question. Thank you, Carlos, for that. And I think that's about it, unless there's any more questions that come in. Is there anything, any parting words you want to add before you go, Howard?
Nah, I think I've answered a lot of the questions that I think people should know and people be careful with. Let me think really quick, see if there's anything that I left out. Protecting yourself and just make sure, I don't see anything that I haven't talked about. If anyone else have any questions, then that'll be.
Well, how do people reach you? If people want to reach out to you and drop you an email or website, where should they go?
So they can always go to howardtai.com.
Yep.
Reach me there, and then you can or on the Facebook group Signalytics.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell people to add me on Howard Tai on Facebook, but I think I'm over 5,000 right now. So
okay, so you're a popular guy. You're a popular guy. All right, guys, thank you so much for the audience joining us from all the different groups, Amazon Memes, Sorting with Kian, High Rollers. Thank you all for joining. Amazing FBA, Australian Seller. Thank you so much for your time. We'll be back here again at 4:00 tomorrow. We're going to talk about conferences and networking, what's going to happen in 2020. So I've got an all-star lineup there explaining with all these postponement of events and what people to expect. We know that networking is a massive part of being this community, and how the behavior will change going online. So I'll be back again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Everyone be safe. Remember, stay indoors. Howard, you're there for another 13 days. Good luck with that. I'll check in with you over the next few days, and I'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye, guys.